Hello, it's came to my attention that a lot of my friends like some of the thoughts that I have as far as the way things in this country should be. I've been very flattered by a couple people actually telling me that they would vote for me if I ran for president. You know, that would be one heck of a tough job because you look at all of the nonsense that Trump goes through right now in order to try to run for president. If he weren't a billionaire, he would be sitting in a jail cell somewhere with no hopes of ever getting out. They did that same kind of thing to Michael Flynn in the beginning of Trump's presidency, period. But I will say the same thing that Donald Trump said whenever he was asked if he would ever run for president. If God so desires for me to be president and leads a path for me to get to that office, I would do it if this country and God wanted and needed me to, without hesitation or worries of the dangers that I might face. Okay, let's put that part behind us and get to what's real and today. This country has showed that we are absolutely corrupted in our legal departments and in the administration that's in office. What has happened is nothing short of what would happen in China, Russia, or any other communist country where they allow the party that's in power to either imprison or silence anybody that opposes them. That's not freedom. That's not freedom of speech. That's hanging on by your fingernails on the edge of the cliff and falling to destruction is what that is. If we don't do all that we can do to stop this from happening, it doesn't really matter whether you like Donald Trump or not. What matters is the policies that he represents. Listen to somebody when they tell you, "Make America great" is making it great for every American citizen. That's doing what is necessary to make sure that this country is strong enough that we can be a world leader and to prevent us from getting involved in other wars and to keep the rest of the world at bay so that they don't get in other nonsensical wars. The reason why these wars end up getting started and we keep on sending equipment over there, the military-industrial complex, the manufacturers of all of the munitions across the globe, if there's no wars, they're not having to produce anything. If they're not having to produce anything, they're not getting rich. If they keep the pot stirred to where there's always a constant war or conflict, they continuously have to manufacture munitions. These are the things that the establishment continuously gets to send aid to foreign countries. Whenever they send aid to foreign countries, it's not just our money going there to help them. They take our money as taxpayers, they send it over there. The leadership of that country, in turn, places a portion of that money back into some other business name of a bogus business, and the money is therefore laundered, and then the money withdrawn from that account by some of our representatives and senators. This is the very reason why they don't want Trump in office. Trump was fixing to put an end to their cash cow. If he gets in there and there's no wars, the military-industrial complex doesn't make a lot of money except to replenish what munitions we need for this country to remain the strongest country on the planet. Period. We're not there anymore. Period. We also, this dumbass that we have in there now, has made it to where he has used a good portion of our oil reserves for this country. Why has he done this? Because even though gas prices are almost double what they were when Trump was in office, he is, instead of using our oil reserves to protect this country in case of emergency, he's done it to stimulate the market prices of oil, therefore making the gas prices a bit lower than what they would be if those reserves were full. Now the problem with this is somewhere along the line we have to replace that oil in the national reserves. And when we do that, we're not going to be paying the lower price that we paid back when Trump was in office and filled those reserves up to the brim. We're going to be paying the highly inflated price of the market whenever this has to be done. That's going to add even more to our deficit. Back again to another situation to do with digital currency. Digital currency does away with anybody being able to trade amongst themselves without Uncle Sam being able to dig into their pocket and take a portion of every dime, even though you've already paid taxes on things you have bought one time. If you sell it to somebody else, you're having to have them pay taxes on it again. You're having to pay taxes on the money as income from things that you lost money on because you had to sell it, because you no longer have a use for it. Or if you're a rock and roll man and you get out there and you play in a band, I know a couple liberals like this that do exactly that. And they talk about how much money they make under the table. I'm not going to name any names because that just draws attention to these things. But if currency goes digital, all of your under the table money, all of your untaxable income, it goes away. So a third of that money will vanish. If you have any kind of help coming from anywhere else, they'll penalize you for every dime that comes in. This is not a good thing. And I know some people will still be too ignorant. They'll say, oh, Orange Man bad. They can't get past him because he's a strong individual and he doesn't take any shit from anybody. I wouldn't take any shit either. I'd call it exactly as I see it as well. That's probably why some of the people that have told me I ought to run for president myself agree with me. That and the fact they know I've got a good heart. I don't want to see anything happen to anybody, nothing bad. I love everybody because everybody's God's children. But we have to protect ourselves first. Because if we don't, our families are at risk, our country is also at risk. Anyway, just thought I would share these thoughts and thank the people that flattered me with saying they thought I would make a good president. God bless you all.